So we're gonna start the warm-up by standing up. And we're gonna start to stretch all the joints from the head all the way down to the feet, okay? Stand on the mat with the feet hip-width apart and the knees not locked, so slightly soft. And then as you're looking straight ahead, you start to look down towards the floor. I was saying to everybody, just come off the video, and then if the connection goes off, then come on the video so I can visually see that something's wrong, okay? Look up towards the ceiling, look straight ahead, look towards your right and your left. Look straight ahead, try to meet the right ear with the right shoulder. And then coming back up, left ear towards the left shoulder without lifting the shoulder. And then we're gonna do it again. So we're gonna look down towards the floor, looking up towards the ceiling, looking straight ahead, look towards your right and your left. Looking straight ahead, ear towards the shoulder without lifting the shoulder, and the other side. And then looking straight ahead, bring the chin towards the right shoulder, drop the chin and make a semicircle until you're coming up to the left shoulder. And then dropping the chin again, you're coming back up onto the right shoulder. And this time we're going to do it a little bit slower. So bring the chin towards the chest, and then as you get to a point where you're feeling a lot of tensions, roll the shoulders back, drop them, and then stay there for a second or two, letting the weight of the head sort of stretch that part of the neck, and then continue with the semicircle until you reach the left shoulder. And then we're coming back down the other side until you're reaching the right shoulder. Okay? And then looking straight ahead, start bringing the right arm up and all the way back, making small circles, and then starting to make the circles bigger and bigger until you reach the end of your movement. And then drop the arm, and we're going to do it the other way around. So from the back you're coming forward, back you're coming forward. And now we're going to do the other arm. So we're going to do the left arm. First bringing it forward and back, making small circles and then bigger and bigger circles. And the other way around. So from the back you're coming forward, start with a small circle and then make it bigger and bigger until you're reaching the end of your range of movement. And then very gently start swinging the body right and left, so you're swinging the arms to the sides, letting them hit the sides of your body. And come back to the center, hands on the hips, gentle knees, so the knees are soft. You start circling the hips, starting with a circle that you're making clockwise, small circles, and then they get bigger and bigger. And then stop, and we're going to do it the other side, so anti-clockwise. Start with small circles and then get bigger and bigger. And then come back to the center, bend the knees, fold forward, start warming up the knees on the inside of the knee, and then the front of the knees, sides of the knees, and the back of the knees. And then come back up, hands on the hips, stretch the toes of the right foot first. And then you're starting to make circles with the ankle, first clockwise and then anti-clockwise, giving yourself a nice stretch onto your ankle and the toes. And then we're going to stretch the left toes, and then you're going to make circles First one direction and then the other direction. Okay, so now we're gonna come to the top of the mat. So what we're gonna do today, because we've covered all the chakras, we're gonna basically do a class that will encompass all the chakras. So we're gonna do the movement much slower. So we're gonna stay in the poses for at least 5 breaths. And this allows the fascia and the body to stretch a little bit better. And obviously we're gonna try to keep the core engaged at all times, okay? So you're coming to the top of the mat, big toes are touching. Now we're gonna start engaging with the core. First, you're tucking the pelvis under, pull the kneecaps up, and then suck the belly in so that the belly button is towards the spine. Open the chest, tuck the chin under, roll the shoulders away from you, hands by your sides. Now you're placing your left hand underneath the belly button, the right hand just on the chest. You can keep your eyes open or closed depending how you want to, what you prefer. We're going to engage with the breath. So we're going to start lengthening the breath so that it is the same length on the inhale as it is on the exhale. So you're inhaling to the count of 5 through the nose, exhaling to the count of 5 through the nose. And then we're going to try to do the Ujjayi breathing, which was the breathing that was connected to the throat chakra. And you remember it was the one where you're trying to basically hit the back of the throat, almost as if you were fogging the breath, fogging a mirror in front of you. So if you need to breathe in through the nose and then breathe out through the mouth. Try to fog that mirror for a couple of times, and then you're gonna do it with your mouth closed. So you're inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. Try to maintain the breathing nice and long for the rest of the class. And then as you're breathing in, you're trying to puff up the left hand, which is the one underneath the belly button. And as you breathe out, you're contracting the belly button towards the spine. And then, if you had your eyes closed, just gently open them. Bring your hands by your sides. We're going to do 3 sun salutations. Inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Look up at the hands, suck the belly in. Exhale, you're folding forward at the hips. Place your hands on the shin, the ankle, or the mat. On the next inhale, press through the hands, look forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend the knees. Hands on the mat, step the right leg out into a lunge, left leg to meet it into a high plank. Now we're setting the plank, we're pushing the heels away from us, pull the kneecaps up, suck the belly in, squeeze the glutes and push the bum down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, knees to the floor, leading with the chest. You're bringing your chest down to the floor, rubbing the elbows by your rib cage, top of the feet on the mat. On the next inhale, hands are underneath the shoulders. You're lifting the chest up, looking forward, rolling the shoulders away from you. Exhale, tuck your toes under, coming to your hands and knees. Bring the sit towards your heels and you're coming up into a downward dog. We're walking our feet on the spot, as this is our first downward dog. So you're keeping the feet hip-width apart. On the inhale, you're bending the right leg, pushing the weight onto the left leg. On the exhale, you're bending the left knee, putting all the weight onto the right leg. You're looking down towards your feet, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. One more breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5, bending the right knee, exhaling to the count of 5, bending the left knee. And then on the next inhale, you're looking towards your hands, bend the knees, start walking your feet towards your hands. Once you reach the hands, keep your feet together Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, engage the core, you're coming up a little bit. Bring your hands up towards the ceiling and exhale, hands by your sides. Second one, inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, press through the hands, look forward. Exhale, hands on the mat, either step or jump into a high plank. Set the plank on the inhale. On the exhale, add a low plank or knees to the floor like the previous one. If you're coming halfway down, you're hovering off the mat. On the next inhale, push the body through the hands. Straighten the arms, you're looking forward. Roll the shoulders away from you. Top of the feet on the mat. Exhale, tuck your toes under. Coming to your hands and knees. Coming to your hands and feet, downward dog. Step your feet forward slightly. Try to bring the heels down towards the floor. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. Ujjayi breathing if you want to. Try to bring the heels down, legs straight. And now focus on the torso and the head. Either you're pointing the top of the head down towards the floor, or you're looking towards your feet. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Push the hands away from you so that you're trying to bring the torso towards the thighs. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, lift the right leg off the floor. Bend the right knee, trying to bring the right heel towards the left glute, opening the hips to the side. And then on the next inhale, square the hips towards the floor, bring the right knee towards the chest, and you're bringing the body above the wrists, planting the foot forward. And then you're bringing your left foot forward as well. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, engage the core, bring up your body a little bit. Bring the hands up towards the ceiling and exhale, hands by your sides. Last one, inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, press through the hands, look forward. Exhale, hands on the mat, either step or jump into a high plank. Inhale, set the plank. Exhale at a low plank or knees to the floor. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Set the down dog properly. You've got all the techniques and all the different components. So really lengthen the breath, work on the pose, tucking your pelvis under slightly so you're engaging the lower part of the abdominals and of the core muscles and the chakras. Pointing the top of the head down towards the floor now. So you're really connecting all the chakras as you're doing this. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. One more breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, lift the left leg off the floor. Bend the left knee. Try to bring the left heel towards the right buttock. Turning the hips towards the left. Looking down towards your right foot. And then on the next inhale, square the hips towards the floor. Bring the left knee towards the chest. Move the weight above the shoulders, planting the left foot wherever is comfortable, near the hands, and then the right foot so that it meets the left. Exhale, you're folding forward. Inhale, engage the core, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, and exhale, hands by your sides. Okay? So, you get the block if you need it. Sorry, but I need to wipe the sweat off me because it's 40 degrees in here. It's like an oven. Okay, so come to the top of the mat. Big toes are touching. And then you're stepping with the right foot 2/3 of the mat. Make sure you can grab hold of the block if you need it. Turn the right toes towards the top right corner of the mat. And then on the next inhale, we're going to do the triangle pose. So you're pulling the kneecaps up. Bring the hands parallel to the floor. And exhale, you're leaning towards the front leg. Bringing the hand either on the shin or on the inside of the ankle, or you're placing the block on the inside of the left foot, bringing your right hand up towards the ceiling, looking either straight ahead or towards your right hand. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. You want to engage the core by starting to squeeze the bum hole, and then you're lengthening the left side of the rib cage. Try to keep the spine in one long line, and then on the exhale you're turning the torso towards your right, either looking straight ahead or towards the right hand. Make sure that you're really pulling the kneecaps up so the legs are straight. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. Pull that right shoulder back towards the spine. And then on the next inhale, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, you're bringing your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips. We're going to turn the other way around. So we're going to turn around so that the right foot is pointing towards the back of the mat. You need to step that left foot back a little bit. Turning the toes towards the top left corner of the mat. Make sure you're pulling the kneecaps up on the next inhale and bringing your hands parallel to the floor. Exhale, you're leaning towards the right hand, the right leg, placing your hands either on the shin or on the inside of the ankle, or the block on the inside of the left foot. Left hand is pointing up towards the ceiling with the palms facing away from you. And now on the next inhale, start contracting the chakras from the root, lengthening the spine. And on the exhale, you're turning the torso towards your left, either looking straight ahead or towards your left hand. Making sure on the inhale, you're pulling the kneecaps up, keeping your legs straight, lengthening the right side of the rib cage. Exhale, turning towards your left, making sure that left shoulder blade is really trying to be as close as possible towards the spine. Nice and long breaths here. Feeling the pose working, and as you're working on the breath, you're also focusing on different parts of the body that starts to ache or feel uncomfortable as you're doing this pose for a little bit longer. One long last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, looking down towards the floor. Exhale, bringing your hands parallel to the floor. Inhale, hands on the hips. And exhale, you're stepping to the top of the mat. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. Okay, now come to the top of the mat. Have your feet hip-width apart, and you're stepping with your left foot, quite a long stance. We're coming into a lunge. So we're coming on the tiptoes of the left leg. You're pushing that heel away from you, so you're trying to keep that left leg as straight as you can. And the left foot should be slightly more out than the right foot, so that keeps you quite nice and stable. Bending the right leg, sitting in between the two legs, so you're not leaning forward, you're sitting in between the legs. On the next inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, sucking the belly in, rolling the shoulders away from you, looking up towards the ceiling if you want to, otherwise you're just looking straight ahead. Inhaling to the count of 5, and exhaling to the count of 5. We're going to be a bit more dynamic now on the next breath. On the next inhale, you're straightening the front leg. On the exhale, you're bending as much as you can, pushing that left heel away from you, keeping the left leg straight. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. Last one, inhale, straighten. As you're exhaling and bending the front leg, you're bringing your left knee down towards the floor. Hips on, hands on the hips. You're putting now your left hand on the mat. If you cannot reach it, then well, I'm pretty sure you can anyway. So that the left hand is on the same, is basically replacing the left foot, is level with your right. And now tuck your left toes under, straighten the left leg, and if you want, you can bring your right hand up towards the ceiling, turning the torso towards your right, looking up towards your right hand. Making sure that the left toes are not turning in, you're still pushing that left heel back, keeping that left leg straight. Inhaling to the count of 5. Exhaling to the count of 5. Suck the belly in, and then on the next inhale, you're looking down towards the floor. Now, place your right hand on the hip. You're turning the left foot over so that your edge of the foot is facing the edge of the mat. And we're coming into warrior 2. So you're placing the left foot so that the toes are pointing towards the side of the mat, and you're placing the weight onto the edge of the feet, lifting the inside of your arch. You're bending the right leg, but you still want to see the big toes, so the right knee doesn't come in, is rotating out. Sitting between the two legs. On the next inhale, bring your hands parallel to the floor, roll your shoulders away from you, and then you're turning to look towards your right hand. Now really work on the core and on the chakras, okay? So you're really tensing up the lower pelvic area by tilting the pelvis under, standing up straight as much as you can with the spine, try not to lean forward, looking towards your right middle finger. One more breath here, inhaling to the count of 5, and exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, hands on the hips, straighten the front leg, step forward with your left foot a little bit, and then you step into the front of the mat. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. All right, other side. We start with the feet hip width apart, hands on the hips. We're stepping with the right foot back into a lunge, so you're on the tiptoes of the right foot, pushing that right heel away from you. So you're keeping that right leg nice and straight, and you're keeping that toes really rooted onto the floor, so that when we're turning on the next move, the feet are always in the same position. You're bending the front leg, still wanting to see the big toes, sitting in between the two legs. On the next inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. Roll the shoulders away from you. Suck the belly in, contract the core muscles and those chakras aligned. So you're trying to keep the chakras always aligned, one on top of the other, and that helps to activate them all. And now if you want, you can either look straight ahead or looking up towards the ceiling. Working on the breath now. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, straighten the front leg, and next exhale, bend, keeping that right leg as straight as you can, pushing that heel away from you. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend, coming all the way down with the right knee onto the floor, hands on the hips. Keep your right toes tucked under. You're placing your right hand level with your left foot underneath your right shoulder. Tuck your toes under and straighten the right leg. If you're finding that this is already enough, just look down towards the floor. Otherwise, if you want to go further, turn the torso towards your left, bringing your left hand up towards the ceiling, palms facing away from you, making sure you're still keeping that toes tucked under, and the right heel pushing back. Inhale into the count of 5, suck the belly in. Tilt your pelvis under slightly, squeeze in the right glute. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. Really work on that areas that are feeling tight at the moment. And then on the next inhale, looking down towards the floor, left hand on the hip, turn the right foot out so that the toes are pointing towards the side of the mat. Come up, straighten the front leg for a second as we're positioning the legs. So the edge of the foot is parallel with the edge of the mat. You're pushing the weight onto the edge of the foot, lifting the right hip arch up, and then you're focusing on the left leg, bending the left knee, making sure the knee is level with the ankle and you're still seeing the big toes. Don't lean forward, sit in between the legs, and then on the next inhale, bring your hands parallel to the floor, roll the shoulders away from you, looking at your left middle finger, making sure both arms are straight, the back arm doesn't come down, you're keeping them nice and straight, rolling the shoulders away from you, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You can also lift the lower part of the arm by pulling them up. Inhale into the count of 5 and exhale into the count of 5. Tilt your pelvis under, feel the root chakra engaged, and feel that the spine is nice and long and the top of the head is pointing up towards the ceiling. One last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, bring your hands to the hips, straighten the front leg, take a small step with your right foot, and then you're coming back to the top of the mat, shaking your legs a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna do now the balancing pose. I'll give you 2 options. So it's gonna be either the tree pose, which you've done before, where that means, or the flamingo pose, okay? So we're gonna start first with the tree pose by putting all the weight onto the left leg, tiptoes of the right. It's pretty much the same. So if you want to go into the flamingo, I'll show you how to shift from the tree pose to the flamingo. And then you're lifting the right leg off the floor, placing the foot either on the inside of the left leg or underneath the knee joint. From here, you're placing your hands in front of your chest, and then you're bringing your hands up towards the ceiling. If you want to do the flamingo pose, you start to hug the right knee towards your chest. With your left hand, you're holding the left ankle, so the right ankle, so that you're really keeping that knee up. And then you're bringing your right shoulder on the inside of the right knee, leaning forward, wrapping that arm around the leg so that you can grab hold of the hands behind you. And then very gently looking down towards the floor and leaning forward. So you're folding forward. If you're doing the tree pose, start bringing the hands towards the chest, bringing them to the hips, and then bringing the right knee towards the front, straightening the right leg and release it. Otherwise, if you're doing the flamingo, come back up, release the arms and release the legs. Give yourself a bit of a shake. And then we're gonna do it on the other side. So I'm gonna do slightly at an angle so you can see the flamingo. Put all the weight onto the right leg, tiptoes of the left. Engage the right glute, lift the left knee off the floor, grab hold of the ankle, place the foot on the inside of the thigh, otherwise on the inside of your right calf. And then hands in front of your chest. When you feel ready, bring your hands up towards the ceiling, looking straight ahead, rolling the shoulders away from you. Otherwise, if you want to do the flamingo, hug that left knee towards the chest, grab hold of the left ankle with the right hand, keeping the leg as it is, left shoulder in, extend the left arm, palms facing away from you, wrap it around, and then looking down towards the floor, point the toes down towards the floor, and then you're folding forward at the hips. Now if you're doing the tree pose, bring your hands down towards the chest, bring them on the hips, left knee forward, extend the left leg and release it. And then if you're doing the flamingo, you're coming back up, release the leg and release the leg. Okay, give yourself a little bit of a shake. We're coming into the hands and knees. So we're coming on our fours. Hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. You can keep your toes tucked under, or you can release the top of your feet down, it doesn't really matter. And then on the next inhale, you're looking forward, curve the back towards the floor, push the bum out. Exhale, curve the back towards the ceiling, pushing the bum towards your hands, contracting the abdominals, looking down towards your knees. Inhale, look forward, curve the back towards the floor, release the abdominals, push the bum out. Exhale, curve the back towards the ceiling, start really contracting the abdominals by pushing the bum towards your hands, looking down towards your knees. One more. Inhale, look forward, curve the back towards the floor, push the bum out. And exhale, curve the back towards the ceiling, pushing the bum towards your hands, looking down towards your knees. Look forward, coming back into a neutral position. Bring your weight onto the right leg, lifting the right arm up towards the ceiling so that is parallel to the floor. Your weight is on the right leg, you're extending the left leg so that you're keeping the leg parallel to the floor, pointing the toes down towards the ceiling. Pointing the toes down towards the floor, sorry. Suck the belly in. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, bring the knee down, bring your right hand down. Resettle yourself. Place the weight onto the left leg, lifting the left hand off the floor, arm parallel to the floor. And then on the next inhale, extend the right leg, toes pointing down towards the floor, really squeezing the glute, sucking the belly in. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, bring your left hand and right knee back down towards the floor, coming into child pose so that you're basically sitting on your heels, arms forward, forehead down onto the floor. Really try to sit on your heels so that you're stretching as much as you can your back, releasing the forehead down, keeping your arms active so that you're stretching the front of your shoulders. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, we're going to come into a plank on our forearms, and then we're going to do the dolphin pose. If you just have a look at me first, you're placing the elbows just underneath the shoulders. The palms are on the floor. You're extending the right leg, and then you're extending the left. Coming into a plank. We're going to stay here for the count of 5, and then we're bending the knees, starting to walk our feet forward until we can sort of push our head through the elbows, not resting the head down onto the floor. And then we're coming back down. We're gonna do it one more time, okay? So position yourself so that the elbows are just underneath the shoulders, hands, palms are facing down towards the floor, pressing onto the mat. You're coming forward so that your weight is on the elbows. You're extending the right leg, and then you're extending the left leg. Pushing the bum down, pushing the heels away from you, looking down towards the floor. 3, 2, and 1. On the next inhale, bend the knees, bring your right foot forward, left foot forward, until you can sort of straighten the legs. Try to bring the heels down towards the floor, pushing the head through the elbows. 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, bring the knees down towards the floor. Come back into child pose. Forehead onto the floor, sitting on the heels. And then on the next inhale, we're going to do it one more time. So we're positioning the elbows underneath the shoulders, extending the right leg, extending the left leg. And then bending the knees so that you walk your feet forward, pushing the head through. If you want, you can lift one leg up towards the ceiling at the time, releasing it, lifting the other leg. And releasing. Come back down with the knees to the floor. Come back into child pose. And now very gently start walking your hands towards the body. As you're sitting on the heels, shift your weight either side of the feet so that your bum is on the floor and you're bringing your legs forward. If you want, you can use a pillow now to place underneath the belly as we're folding forward, but just have it next to you. Release the flesh away from your buttock. Have your legs as straight as you can, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling, pressing the knees down onto the floor. Place your hands either side of the buttocks. You can use a block underneath your bum if you want to. And then reset with the core muscles and the chakras, and also reset with the breath. So you're squeezing the bum hole, sucking the belly in, opening the chest, tucking the chin under, rolling the shoulders away from you, and then really bending the elbows, pointing them towards the back of you, so you can really open the chest, top of the head pointing up towards the ceiling. Get this feeling that although you're quite rooted and you're still feeling that sensation onto the pelvic floor of tension, as you're squeezing the bum hole, you're sort of being pulled up from the top of the head, really lengthening the spine, making sure the legs are still nice and long, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. Re-engage with the breath. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, bring your hands up towards the ceiling. If you want at this point, you can use a pillow, because we're going to stay in this position quite a lot. Just underneath, so that you can rest your torso onto the pillow. Otherwise, we're going to stay here for at least 5 breaths. So on the next exhale, you're folding forward, engaging the breath, engaging the core muscles, relaxing the hands wherever they're comfortable on the legs. And the next inhale, tuck your chin under, engage the core, point the toes up, press the knees down, and exhale, pulling on the hands. You're actively trying to bring the torso towards the thighs. Staying here for 5 long breaths. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. Still make this pose active by really keeping the legs engaged, and with your breath you're really working on releasing the uncomfortable feeling on the legs. So instead of tensing up, you're using the breath almost to push through the energy and relaxing the fascia of the legs and on the lower back. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. Last breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. On the next inhale, come all the way up. Now hug the right knee towards the chest, Bring the right foot on the outside of the left leg, keeping your left leg straight, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. Right hand behind you, left hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale, suck the belly in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, add a hug the right knee towards the chest with your left arm, or you're placing the left elbow on the outside of the right knee, turning the torso towards your right, really elongating the spine, sucking the belly in, engaging that pelvic root chakra, and then really feeling the energy running up the spine, all the way up to the top of the head. Keeping that spine nice and long as you're turning towards your right with the chin parallel to the floor. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. One more breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Elongate the spine. Exhale, turn the torso towards your right. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center. Hug the right knee towards the chest and release it. Extend the right leg, point the toes up towards the ceiling. On the next inhale, hug the left knee towards the chest. Place the left foot on the outside of the right leg. Left hand behind you, right hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale, suck the belly in, lengthen the spine. Exhale, either hug the knee towards the chest or right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Making sure you're still engaging the right leg. And then really focus on the spine. Engaging that root and that pelvic floor. As you're turning on the exhale towards your left, feeling that stretch onto your upper back and the thoracic area, but feeling as almost somebody's pulling you from the top of the head, really straightening that back. Inhale into the count of 5, exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center. Hug the left knee towards the chest and then release it. Okay, so now we're going to do the upward plank. So we're placing the hands about a hand breadth away from the bum with the fingers pointing towards the bum. And then two versions here. The easier version is to bend the knees, placing the feet onto the floor, pushing the bum up, looking down towards the knees or looking up towards the ceiling. If you want to go the full pose, you're extending the legs, pointing the toes away from you, pushing the hips up, trying to bring the toes down towards the floor, either looking towards the ceiling or releasing the head. Keep on pushing the hips up. One more breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. On the next inhale, bring the bum down towards the floor and bring your body into the middle of the mat, placing your hands in front of the knees and rocking yourself onto your back, hugging the knees to the chest. Stay here for a second or two, keeping your knees hugged, really hugging them towards the chest so you're releasing not only your lower back but the front of the hips. And then we're going to do the bridge pose. So we're going to place the feet hip width apart, as close as you can in front of your bum. So you should be able to touch some part of the foot, either the ankle or the whole of the ankle or just the heel. Press your hands down onto the floor, keeping your knees parallel to each other so they don't come out to the sides. On the next inhale, push the hips up. First of all, you're tucking the pelvis under sucking the belly towards the spine and keeping that belly and that pelvis in that position. You're pushing the hips up. If you want, you can interlace the fingers behind your back, shuffling to the top of your shoulders, pushing the hips up, still tucking your pelvis under. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then very gently start releasing the hands, press the hands down onto the mat, release the back down towards the floor, hugging the knees to the chest. Now rotate the knees clockwise, so you give yourself a little bit of a release on the hips and on the lower back. And then very gently, we're going to do it one more time. So you bring your feet in front of your hips, hip width apart, press the hands down onto the floor. On the next inhale, push the hips up by tucking the pelvis under first, pushing the hips up, interlacing the fingers, shuffling to the top of your shoulder, pushing the hips up, pressing onto the heels of the foot and the big toes, keeping the knees parallel to each other, and lengthening the breath, squeezing those glutes, pushing the hips up. One more breath here. Inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, release the hands, press them down onto the floor as you're bringing the back down onto the floor, hugging the knees to the chest, rotating the knees anti-clockwise, so you give yourself a little bit of a massage on your lower back. And then very gently start releasing the knees, and you're placing the feet down onto the floor. Okay, so now you're placing your right foot on top of the left knee, bringing the right knee out to the sides. Tucking your chin under so your neck is nice and long. You're either pressing with your right hand onto the right knee, stretching the right glute. If you want an extra stretch, with your hands you grab the back of the left thigh, bringing the left thigh towards your chest, pointing the toes up so that you're protecting the right knee, so you're flexing the right foot. And now really work on relaxing that right leg and that right glute with the breath. So we're gonna stay here for 5 breaths. We've already done a couple, so inhaling to the count of 5, exhaling to the count of 5. Every time you're breathing, you're sending the energy and relaxation to the part of the right leg that is hurting at the time. Really encouraging relaxation of that area. And then very gently start bringing your left foot down onto the floor, swapping the legs over. So the right foot is on the mat, the left foot is on top of the right knee, flopping the left knee out to the side, flexing the left foot so that you're protecting the left knee, and then either you're pressing with your left down onto the knee or you're grabbing hold of the back of the thigh, making sure you're still keeping the head down onto the floor, tucking your chin under, really bringing that right thigh towards the chest so you're really feeling the stretch onto the left glute and the left leg. And now as you're here, you're really working on the breath, sending with the breath relaxation and energy into the area of the left leg that feels tight, and encouraging it to relax. One long last breath here. Inhale into the count of 5. Exhale into the count of 5. And then on the next inhale, start bringing your right foot down onto the floor, releasing the legs. Now hug the right knee towards the chest, extend the left leg, open the right arm out to the sides with the palms facing up towards the ceiling. With your left hand, you're grabbing hold with the finger the side of the right knee, and then you're bringing the right leg down onto the left, twisting towards your right hand, looking towards your right hand, so you're feeling the twist into the right side of your back and the glute. Again, use your breath to relax into this pose. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center, swap the legs over. So you're hugging the left knee, opening the left arm out, bringing the left knee towards the right side, looking towards your left hand, really feeling the stretch onto the sides of your left back. And then on the next inhale, come back to the center, hug both knees towards the chest, start rocking back and forward until you're coming up into a seated position. Now, we're going to do some meditation, so the choice is to go into the corpse pose or to go into the first pose, into a cross-legged position using the block and cross-legging your legs in front of you, doing the meditation in this position. Otherwise, you can go into the corpse pose, relaxing yourself onto the mat, having the feet as wide as the mat, tilting your pelvis under so as much as your lower back is on the floor, rolling the shoulders away from you, opening the palms up towards the ceiling, tucking your chin under, and then you can use a pillow underneath your head, or you can also bend the knees so that the feet are as wide as the mat, supporting the knees with each other, okay? So we're just gonna do a couple of minutes of meditation. First, we're gonna start relaxing the body. So imagine that you're just gonna start relaxing the top of the head and the whole of your scalp and the skull. Relaxing your forehead, relaxing your temples, relaxing the eye sockets, relaxing the nose, relaxing the top of the lips, the mouth, the chin, relaxing your cheeks all the way across from the face into the ears, relaxing the ears. And now you're relaxing the front of the neck and relax the back of the neck. Relax the top of your shoulders, and you're coming from the top of the shoulders all the way into the shoulder joint, relaxing the shoulder joint. Relax your upper arms, relax your elbows, relax your forearms, relax your wrists, and relax your hands. Coming back to the top of the shoulders, relax the space in between the shoulder blades and relax your shoulder blades. And now you're going down either side of the spine, all the way down into the middle of the back and your lower back, into the glutes. And then from the glutes you're coming under and over your pelvic area, into the pelvis, relaxing the pelvis, relaxing the space of your lower abdomen, so between the pelvis and the belly button, and relaxing your upper abdomen, so between the belly button and the spine and the rib cage, coming up on the rib cage into the thorax and the chest, relaxing the front of the chest, your breasts, all the way up to your clavicles, And now coming into your armpits, relaxing the armpits and coming down the sides of the body all the way down into your hips, relaxing the hip joints, relaxing the thighs, the front of the thighs and the back of the thighs. Relax your knees, relax your calves, relax your shins, relax your ankles and relax your feet. And now what we're going to do, we're going to start focusing onto the nose area, noticing what part of the nose gets tickled as you're breathing in and what part of the nose gets tickled as you're breathing out. Try to focus onto this area, and then what you want to do, you want to focus your mind by counting to 10. The count of 1 is 1 inhale and 1 exhale, and you're trying to count to 10 without having any thoughts popping up. What you want to do is, if something comes up to your head, you just don't go with that train of thought, you just let it go. And then if you're engaging with that thought, then you need to start again from the count of 1, aiming to count to 10. So start now. Okay, and now very gently start bringing the attention back to the rest of the body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and you sigh out through the mouth now. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you sigh out through the mouth, start wiggling your toes. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and as you sigh out through the mouth, start wiggling your fingers. And then very gently you can bring your feet together if you're lying down, and if you're sitting as well, you can bring your arms over your head. Give yourself one long last stretch by tensing up the body and then relaxing it. Now if you're sitting down, just keep yourself sitting down. Otherwise, if you're lying down, start hugging one knee towards the chest at a time. Hug the knees to the chest, and then either rock yourself back and forward into a seated position, cross-legged, or you're rolling yourself onto the right side, pushing yourself up. And then place your hands in front of your chest, close your eyes, and just thank yourself for allowing you time to practice today. Namaste. Thank you very much.